Contents. Contents include 1 deck of 108 playing cards and 1 instruction manual. Not included. You will need a timer for this game. Objective. The main objective of No Cheese, No Coin is to collect as many coin cards as possible within the time limit. The player with the most coin cards wins. The other cards, called cheese cards, are used to help sabotage other players. Standard rule of play. Shuffle the deck before starting a round and place the shuffled deck into the center of the playing area within all players' reach. All players start with no cards. The player order always runs clockwise. During their first turn, each player draws 1 card from the deck. On all other turns, players can play any and as many of their cheese effect cards as they want before drawing from the deck. Any cheese effect cards that are played goes into the discard pile unless specified otherwise. Once a player draws from the deck, it ends their turn and goes to the next player. Players will continue to play and draw cards until either the timer or deck runs out, whichever comes first. If the timer runs out, all gameplay must stop immediately. The player with the most coin cards in their hand wins. If the deck runs out of cards before the end of the game, players will continue using their cheese effect cards until there are no moves left. Once no moves are left, the game ends and the player with the most coin cards in their hand wins. In the event of a tie between players will result in a round of sudden death. Sudden death rules. Step 1. Players keep any remaining cheese cards in their hands to start, but all their coin cards, along with the rest of the deck, is reshuffled. Turn order stays clockwise, but the timer is now set at 3 minutes. Continue playing with the standard rules until time expires. The player with the most coin cards at the end of the round wins. If there are multiple ties, then continue doing sudden death rules until there is a definitive winner. Special active rules. These are active rules that are in effect during the game. Risk/reward. If a player is not paying attention, you can steal cards from their hand or steal from the deck itself at any time. However, if another player catches you stealing, then you must discard your entire hand to the discard pile. Stacking. You can use multiple cards and their corresponding effects during your turn, but only before you draw from the deck. Example. If you have 2 reverse cards, both effects will take place. All rules double when stacking. Cancel a cancel. If a player attempts to use an effect card, you can cancel the effect by using a cancel card, whether the effect was directed at you or another player. Another player can cancel a cancel if the player desires. Cheese effect cards. Munster, reverse, 7 cards. This card reverses the order of play. Mild cheddar, steal, 3 cards. The player who activates this card during their turn can take 1 card from another player's hand at random and place the card in their own hand. Sharp cheddar, 3 steal, 3 cards. The player who activates this card during their turn can take 3 cards from any player's hand randomly and place the cards in their own hand. You can choose to steal from the same player 3 times or steal 1 card from 3 different players. The American Cheese Shuffle. 5 cards. The player who activates this card gets to shuffle the main deck. They can shuffle the entire deck, certain parts of the deck, or flip cards facing up. Swiss Vision. 4 cards. The player who activates this card during their turn can see the next 5 cards in the deck, or whatever remains if there are fewer than 5 cards. Do not alter the deck when looking. Feta Rush. 2 cards. When activated, the remaining time is cut by 3 minutes. Example. If it is at 10 minutes, cut it down to 7 minutes playtime. Ricotta Gain. 2 cards. When activated, the remaining time is increased by 3 minutes. Example. If the time is at 10 minutes, add 3 minutes to make 13 minutes total playtime. Pepper Jack. Cancel. 7 cards. This card can be played at any time, regardless of player order, and can negate any cheese card unless a specific card states otherwise. Asiago Super Cancel. 1 card. This card can be played at any time, regardless of player order, and can negate any cheese card in the game regardless of the effect. Gouda Swap. 4 cards. The player who activates this card during their turn can swap their entire hand with any player in the game. Explosive Nacho Cheese Destruction. 1 card. This card can only be used once per game. When activated, all cards, except for this one, return to the deck and the deck is reshuffled as if it is a new game. When used, remove this card from play. Time continues during the process and can only be canceled with a super cancel. Mozzarella, rotate the game, 1 card. This card can only be used once per game. When activated, all players must swap hands clockwise to the next player within the turn order. When used, remove this card from play. Time continues during the process and can only be canceled with a super cancel. Stinky Cheese, Trash Pile, 3 cards. When this card is activated, the player can decide to take another player's card at random and throw it into the discard pile. Gorgonzola, Take Out the Trash, 3 cards. When activated, the player chooses to take any 1 card from the discard pile. Say Brie Cheese, Face Up, 2 cards. When activated, the player can choose any other player to reveal their entire hand to the group. Blue Cheese, Self-Sabotage, 1 card. This card is immediately activated when it is drawn. The player who drew this card must immediately move their entire hand to the discard pile. The card can be canceled if the player has a cancel or super cancel in their hand.